right, welcome, my loves, to our Womb Rhythms group menstrual cycle transformation container. There she is. Round two. We're going to be doing this most likely every other month. So, we started it, Meg and I, last month. We started in June and went to July. And it was a really, really powerful, supportive experience for everybody. And we realized that we needed it more than we thought we did when we were opening up the space. And the focus is on the menstrual cycle, as you probably know, and the womb. So we're going to be going really deep into each phase of the cycle each week. So we're going to start next week with the menstrual cycle, and the gatherings, the Zoom gatherings, are Fridays at this time at 6 Pacific. And see, just before we get started and go in, just a little housekeeping. If you are not in the present moment speaking, if you could just put yourself on mute, and then we'll have time for sharing and stuff during the circle time. And Melissa's here. Okay. So yeah, Meg and I were just going to start off by sharing a little bit of our personal story, our journey, and then some of our experience in the group last time, and a little bit of what to expect and what our intention is, what our focus is. It is going to be really focused towards deep nutrition and herbal wellness during your cycle, and different things you can do, and superfood protocols that we work with personally and that we help guide many women through, that are very balancing and beneficial for pretty much everything. But for the menstrual cycle also, we've noticed within ourselves and many other women that it can really help to balance the hormones, and it brought me a lot of regularity and ease in my cycle that I hadn't experienced before. I used to have a really irregular cycle and a lot of pain, and I no longer really experience that, which is like mind-blowing to me. So I wanted to invite Megan, anything that you're feeling called to share. I also wanted to start just with a little bit of grounding breath, a little mini meditation, if that feels good. Cool. Oh, go ahead, Meg.
I was going to say, did you want to do the meditation before or after?
I'll do it after, yeah. We'll see what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, my name's Meg, and I'm so honored to be here and creating this space with you, Leah, and just all the women that come together. I really honor you in showing up in this space for your own wellness, for the collective wellness. And as me and Leah created this space, we've had our own experience with our personal cycles kind of similar. So that was a sweet spot to connect with and be able to bring this together. And for me, my cycle, as with so many other women, I just had such a negative relationship to it. And I just dreaded it every single month. I'm like, oh, why do I have to be a woman and experience this pain? And it just carried a lot of hurt within me. And as I got sick a few years ago with chronic eczema and a bunch of other things, I lost my period. And at first I was really grateful. I'm like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to deal with that anymore. And then as I started to learn more about my body, the healing that is already within us, I'm like, our cycles are such a key role in like how our overall wellness is. And so I began to pray for it back. I'm like, oh, please bring back my menstruation. And it took about 6 months for it to come back. But as it came back, I was just filled with so much gratitude. And I saw my body and my menstruation in a new light. And what's really helped my body is to get back to nature, back to our natural rhythms, back to this natural way to eat our foods that are pure and from the earth and not processed and toxic. And it's been such a like unfolding and cleansing of my body. And through these protocols, it's been about a year since I've done my 30-day transformation. And beforehand, I was experiencing like the residue of the last of my eczema down in my vaginal area, and it was just really uncomfortable. Like each cycle I would have that come up right before my menstruation, and it was kind of embarrassing, and I didn't really think too much that it would help that. But once I did the protocol, it relieved, just cleansed that whole area. And I'm like, wow, like it helps the womb space so much. And since we are so surrounded by toxins in our environment and our food, it's so important to cleanse on a daily basis. And I've really felt the potency of that. And I'm just so grateful to share this with other womb holders, other people, because our wombs are going through so much. And I know so many women are like getting off birth control right now. And so it's time for us to come back into natural rhythm in our womb spaces and be empowered together through what we eat, what we surround ourselves with, and together we can really thrive. So that's why I'm here. Thank you. Leah, do you want to go ahead?
Yes. Thank you for sharing all that, Meg. Yeah, so true. Yay. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Melissa. I'm so happy all of you are here. And yeah, I just feel called to drop in with a little brief meditation. I have this singing bowl that my auntie just gave to me. I'm loving it. So just breathing into everything that Meg just shared and the intention that I'm feeling in this space that I feel really deeply passionate about and called to is that, especially in the times we're in right now, coming back into harmony and connection with our body and with our own internal rhythms and really honoring, like deeply honoring the cycles of our bodies and slowing down enough to do that and to really tune in and listen to what our bodies need and give them that and honor the cycles of our womb with reverence. And I have found in the last year and a half in my healing journey, which I'll share a little bit about later, a deep, like a joy and such a love for my womb and my cycle that I never had before. Like I had so disassociated from it my whole life because of the pain and all the stigma around it. So just calling in this idea that when we deeply detoxify and nourish and attune to our bodies, we're also coming into greater right relationship with the earth because our bodies follow the rhythms of the earth, the seasons. And we're going to talk about that in the following weeks, how each phase of the cycle, like at a deep physiological, energetic level, harmonizes with each phase of the cycle. Or did I say season? Yeah, the seasons and the cycles tune up really beautifully. And we're going to go deep into that. Just coming back into our own natural medicine as a way to steward the earth, the planet. My sister Aixa is coming in. Yay. So just breathing into that and inviting in wherever you have been today and wherever your body is in this moment. Hi, Aixa. We're just starting off with a little meditation. Love you. And closing your eyes if that feels good. Just inviting you to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and then sigh it out. And on the sigh, really see if you can relax your root area. This is an area that we can often unconsciously be holding and clenching a lot. I notice that during the day, I have to like consciously just release the pelvic floor muscles as much as you can, as much as you feel comfortable and safe to. And just letting your root know that it's safe, that you are held here exactly as you are, wherever you are on your journey, on your transformation, on whatever has been going on in your day, just allowing in a letting go of any tension, any swirling thoughts, any activities from the day thus far. And just being fully here with one another, with yourself. Inviting you, all of you, back into your body. Just continue taking some deep, full breaths all the way down into your lower belly, your pelvis, your womb space, allowing the breath to fill up that whole area. Relax your shoulders. Allow yourself to receive whatever it is you may need from this space. Just take a deep breath, a few deep breaths, and bring yourself back into this space. Breathe into the heart. And just inviting in the energy of this space to also be a prayer, because I feel whenever we come together in this way, it's a prayer, it's a collective prayer for our highest well-being, for the highest well-being of all we come into contact with after, and for the earth, because when we take care of our bodies and ourselves, we really are serving all of life, and everybody who we interact with then feels our vibrant energy and is affected by that, our love, our heart. And opening your eyes as you're ready. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. I feel really, really grateful and honored to be in this space with you and to share these conversations. And we all have so much knowledge and wisdom to share. Like in our last group last month, I learned so much from women who came, different, herbs that I didn't know about and different things about the cycle that I had never heard, and just about yeah, our relationship with the womb and with the collective womb that is in like deep healing right now, I feel. Um, so I feel called to share a little bit about my journey as well with my womb healing, with my menstrual cycle. Some of you have heard this before. So just going to be kind of brief, but this is what led me to into this work and these offerings. A little bit similar to Meg. We have a pretty similar story. It's really cool and beautiful. But I, yeah, had a really painful cycle my whole life up until the last like year and a half. Really, really irregular, horrible cramps, like throwing up over the toilet sometimes. Um, really, yeah, heavy mood swings, and I started to tune in with tracking my cycle naturally, like a few months before I left to go traveling in South America. And I was just starting to use like a Luna cup, a Diva cup, and like reading this book about it called Red Moon, which I recommend if anybody wants a book about, yeah, really beautiful ways to tune in with the cycle and like ancient rituals of initiation that our ancestors used to do, our grandmothers. And then I went traveling for 6 months and I stopped bleeding for the whole time. And I was really scared. I was like traveling alone and I didn't know what the heck to do. And I would like pray to God and to the moon for my blood to come back. I wanted it so bad. And I was like deeply craving to like experience that so I could tune in with these things I was learning. And then I got back home and I had this intuitive sense that I had something like blocked on the right side. And I eventually went to get an ultrasound, went to the doctor, and I did have a cyst on my right ovary. And the doctor, I felt really like condescended and dismissed by the allopathic medicine. And not to like talk bad about all of Western medicine, but I just, yeah, she was like, you can take a pill. Most women get cysts in their life, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, no, that just didn't feel right in my body. And I just knew that it was deeper than that it was emotional trauma, that it was, something was causing that blockage. Like my body didn't feel safe. So I decided to just heal myself naturally. And I had the help of an Ayurvedic practitioner, which really helped. She helped me a lot. And then I came across also these superfood protocols that came into my life. And I also was like doing a lot of deep, just internal healing work, like having the energetic intention to connect there is huge. That's like the first step. And yeah, I had a really profound healing journey with my womb and just like felt the collective pain of women in my womb space and felt myself like purging that. And then when I bled again for the first time, I was so happy and ecstatic. I painted with it and like was just like celebrating it for the first time. So yeah, I started to experience then really regular cycle and a lot more easeful, like really hardly any pain at all, honestly, compared to what I used to experience. I hardly have any cramps, which is crazy to me. And I think that's a lot of different factors. But I really think a lot of it and feel has to do with these different herbal and food medicines and nutrition, deep nutrition that I wasn't getting before. Like I thought I was eating as healthy as possible, mostly plant-based, Ayurveda, all the things. But there was just like vital, pure nourishment that I was lacking. And so when I felt it for the first time and started to feel the effects of like, oh, this is what it feels like to like be in my full energy actually, and to not have like chronic inflammation. And I stopped experiencing the pain and the cramps. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. And also like my pH feels really balanced because of some of the medicines. I used to get like pretty chronic BV, bacterial vaginosis. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that, but it's kind of like a UTI, but like more mild. It's just like a slight imbalance. But whenever I don't have the biomedic, which we're going to talk about, I like start to get it again really easily. So I'm just like, oh, gut health and vagina health is very related. So yeah, that's a little bit about my experience. And yeah, I think it's really important that we have this space to have these conversations and talk about all the dirty deets about these things that we experience in our bodies and like like pathologizing and like they're not gross, it's not gross, it's not taboo. It's like this is so important for our overall well-being, and it's also really powerful to tap into your menstrual cycle, your energetic flow of creativity. Um, so yeah, I feel called to just tune in and see if anybody feels called to share maybe a little bit about your experience, maybe like what you've been feeling recently with your flow, or like what your relationship is with that, with your womb. Yeah, no pressure, but if you feel called, we would love to hear your voice and just kind of hear where people are at, what's going on.
I'll share a little bit. So what's going on with me? Well, I started my menstruation for this month last night at exactly like 1 a.m. I was like getting ready for bed, and I like went to go pee before going to bed, and I was like literally the first couple droplets, and I was like, oh, that's odd. Like, because that doesn't usually happen, like that I notice right when I start. So I was already thinking about attending this, but that felt like a, yeah, you should go moment. I guess that I'll share a little about like my past, because currently not a whole lot's going on with my womb other than it's bleeding a little bit. Uh, um, so let's see. I am a mom of 2 boys, and I love them so dearly. So I kind of was initiated in somewhat like traumatic ways. I feel like a lot of people are. A lot of modern times, like you mentioned, initiation of our ancestors, and how women like purposefully and intentfully initiated their young. Because that's not happening, I think that a lot of the pain, it's kind of like a catch-22, because that's not happening, there's a lot of like pain and turmoil and trauma, but the pain and turmoil and trauma is in its way initiating people to come across these things eventually. Yeah, so I don't know if I want to get into it like way a lot, but I had my first son like 2 months before I turned 21. I was 20, almost 21. And when he was 4 months, I got like really bad postpartum. Well, I had postpartum the whole time, but it was like mild, and there's like various kinds. So I was kind of initiated through like birthing and non-birthing ways of what our body does, why we have our cycle. And yeah, that was cool. And then when my second son was like maybe 2 or maybe 3, I took I was like on online a lot, and I was just looking at various entrepreneurs and people's art and people's like poetry or whatever it was they were sharing on Facebook and that kind of thing. And I came across this lady, Catherine something. Anyways, she was more of an elder. She's an older lady who had been initiating young girls for a little while. She had put together a course, young women something or other. I can't remember the name of it right now. So she had like an online course to teach other women how to do this for their nieces or their daughters or their community of young women. And so I was like interested, and I took it, and I like didn't really know. I had a niece. I had 2 or 3 at the time, but I didn't know if I would ever really use it to like facilitate courses. And then like I learned more myself, if that makes sense. So it's like I was taking the course to teach others, but really I was learning myself. Yeah, and various other things have occurred, but I mostly am like interested in the education portion of this so that there's less trauma. So I'm going in to be an educator just for elementary education, but my passion really lies in like creating more space for like accurate, open, non-judgmental sex education, and like being honest with women about like that there's like the abortion's a thing, and that it's not just like you're going to have a baby or you're going to give your baby up for adoption, because I feel like, at least for myself, that was what I was told in high school, and that's like hugely inaccurate. I feel like when you like when you keep a secret from a collective or from young women, it's bound to like kind of blow up in people's faces. And so like that's the whole controversy about it, but it would probably be a lot less if it was less taboo. So I'm here because I like that women are trying to create conversations around these difficult discussions. That's all. Thanks.
Just have to say thank you so much. I love that. And thank you for doing that work. I agree. It's so important. Yeah, that's so beautiful. I feel really passionate about education in that way. So thank you for doing that.
Hi, my name is Aixa. Hi, Leah. Well, that's funny. I can only see Leah because I'm on speaker view, and I was wondering why it wasn't changing to me because I'm speaking, but I don't think it does that. Anyway, let's see. I'm patiently waiting on my menstrual cycle. I started keeping a sort of health diary that was inspired by many different things, but things that I write down are when I wake up, or not when I wake up, how many hours of sleep I have, what I eat, if I have a bowel movement, if I do any exercise, the day of my moon cycle, and so on. But what I want to share is the day of my moon cycle. So that has been helpful just to know what day I'm on. I usually, before this, let me take a breath because I feel really nervous. Hold on. Thanks. Okay, so before I started writing down what day I was on, I would just either keep note of my starting date and ending date on my phone. And then I got an app where I just like click, started on this day, ended on this day. And that, I realize, hasn't really helped me become more aware of my cycle. It's just, and like if somebody were to ask me, oh, when, or when you go to the doctor, they ask you when the first day of your period was, and I would never know. Like I know that I would write it down, but I wouldn't consciously, I don't know. It wasn't very conscious. So now I feel, because I'm writing it every morning when I wake up, I write down, I slept for 8 hours and today's my day. Today's actually day 30. And something that I found interesting was last month I started early. So I started my cycle lasted 25 days. And then, my first day is day 1. And so I was wondering what this month would be like. And if I would start on day 25, right after day 25, or go along with like the 28-day cycle. And so I don't know when I'm starting my period. I think maybe tomorrow, but it's been interesting to kind of keep track of it And something that I shared with Leah, I think it was maybe 2 months ago, I called her crying because I was in so much pain and asked her if she knew anything of how to relieve my menstrual pain. And she helped me and kind of just talked me through it. And then she told me about her course that she is providing, which I'm so thankful for, Leah. So I was able to catch last month's, like the last day of the 4-week cycle. And so now I'm here to go through the rest of it. And it's been really exciting just to, I don't know, just, yeah, to connect with like where I'm at in my cycle and learning more about, I don't actually know the names of the phases besides the luteal phase, but you know, just, I don't know, there's just so much wisdom. And I'm often appalled at the simple, like basic human life things that we don't know, like our cycle. Or I remember I was in middle school maybe when like me and my girlfriends, there was like this discussion where we had 3 holes and not just 2, like not just our like pee hole and our butthole. It was like those kinds of things. I mean, I guess middle school is an okay time to find that out, but I just felt very like, what the heck, you know? And I don't know, just lots of, yeah, just basic human living things that we don't know. And then I have a niece and I have a little sister. And so as I want to learn as much as I can, and then also gently impart that knowledge onto them and kind of pass that knowledge on, you know, like whatever wisdom I can gather, I want to pass it on. I'm also a teacher, so I don't know how I'll fit that in. Right now I'm a preschool teacher, so it doesn't really fit in, but actually some of my so it's like 3 to 5-year-olds, some of them actually use the word vagina, and I'm blanking on the word vulva, and I'm so impressed by their parents. So anyway, yeah, it's important information to know, and it's really weird that we don't know it. Thanks for listening.
I can share. So one, I feel like I'm definitely slacking on honoring my menstrual cycle. Yeah, kind of similar. Like I used to have an app where I monitored it and everything, and then the app was always wrong. But now I kind of like I mostly bleed with the new moon, but this month I bled with the new moon and the full moon. Or I guess last month's new moon, because the new moon just passed and I haven't bled because I just bled in the last full moon. So I don't know what's going on with her. But yeah, I actually had my first period very late. I was almost 16 when I had my first period. And so that was like, it was weird. I mean, I was always a late bloomer. But you know, I like went to the gyno and like to see if I had all the proper parts and everything. So I was just like weird, like being so late to it, but it was also like nice because all my friends had already had it. And, you know, it was just like, I remember I was in the bathroom after school with like, you know, all my friends, and I was like, guys, I got my period. And they're like, yes. So that was really cool. And then they're like, I have a pad, I have a tampon, here you go. Yeah. So that was cool. Let's see. And I had actually lost my period for a moment. So in, what was it, like summer 2018, going into the fall and the winter, I was dealing with some health issues, and my period just stopped. And like didn't really know what to think of it, of like, I mean, I had an idea of why it stopped, and I was also kind of working with a naturopath at that point, and she kind of reassured me, like, you know, it's all okay. Your body is just kind of, you know, working on a lot of other things, so it's just taking a back seat to that, which, and I totally get. You know, if your body's not healthy enough to, you know, maybe not healthy enough to bear a child, then maybe that those things just don't happen for that time period when you're healing. So that was scary, but I also, like, when I think back to it, I like wasn't really letting myself fully be scared of it. I was just like, no, it's all okay. Everything's gonna be okay. It's fine. But I was scared about that, and I was also scared about my health. And I remember it came back. It's actually the first time that I gave someone Reiki. Before I was actually even like Reiki certified, I was giving my friend Reiki, and I was like working a lot on her womb. And then, like, literally 1 or 2 hours later, I got my period after not having it for months. And so that was really wild and beautiful. And it was like a big message to me that, like, you know, this work heals me too. Doing healing work for others also heals me. And so that was a really beautiful message. But yeah, I think also, like, in the meditations, in like womb meditations that we've done, whenever whenever someone guides me to like go into my womb, I actually like don't go. I'm often like very scared to go there. Or like I'll get distracted or something, like I'll pretend that I'm not paying it proper attention or something. But yeah, it's been a scary place to go. And you know, the last sexual experience I had was, I mean, that I've had. Hold on. I guess, like, I haven't really felt in control of my sexual experiences that I've had, and kind of didn't put myself first. And actually, like, the last sexual experience I had was beautiful, but it also, like, because it was with a good person, it just brought up a lot of other stuff. And so yeah, I just like I'm kind of coming into the awareness of how much I have been ignoring my womb, or not honoring my womb, and not honoring my cycles. And I would like to start honoring myself in that way. I'm just not really sure how. So I'm here. And yeah, I'm really grateful to be guided by such beautiful people. Yeah, thank you.
We are so happy that you're here, Joanna. I love you so much. And thank you for sharing that, those really deep reflections. And yeah, just inviting in the presence of like how much we can be holding in our womb, and how it can be scary to go in there at first if we're not, you know, used to connecting in that way, and all the things that we might not even know we're holding in the womb. And so just like inviting in, really like being gentle and honoring that process, however it unfolds. And yeah, thank you for sharing so vulnerably, because I know probably all of us have had some experiences with our womb area and sexuality that haven't felt completely safe. I definitely have had quite a few, and just breathing in a breath of safety and healing into that collective space right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share before we get into the deets, the nitty gritty?
Shall we begin?
Yeah. Cindy, were
Yeah.
you gonna share? No worries if not. Just looked like you were unmuting.
Okay, I guess I could share. I was a little unsure, honestly. I never really talked about the womb with anyone, not even like my girlfriends. Um, I I was gonna say to Joanna, that I'm studying Chinese medicine and acupuncture and Eastern herbalism. And in our studies, there was like an ancient text which they described that healthiest age for girls to get their periods between 14 and 16. If girls get their period too early, it's actually not normal, but because in this day and age, everything we eat is, a lot of stuff we eat is GMO'd, or all the dairy stuff have like antibiotic or hormones pumped into them, and because of our diet, girls are getting their period earlier and earlier. And I heard of in clinic, a lot of girls are getting their period around like 7 or 8, and that is not normal. And actually between 14 and 16, like for my parents' age, for my grandparents' age, they got it around that age. So it's been interesting to observe how, like, especially in American culture too, like it's a norm for girls to get their period around like age 9 to 12 nowadays. Whereas like if you get your period like when you got your period at 16, you thought you were like abnormal. But like traditionally and also physiologically back in the day, it's very normal. It's just like girls are getting their period earlier and earlier. Yeah, I just wanted to share that before I forget. Anyway, yeah, I got my period when I was 13, and my parents never really had a conversation with me about it. Like, I'm the only child, and I came from an immigrant family, and like sex and all of the stuff, sexual stuff, is just not talked about ever. So I had to really like figure a lot of things out on my own, and didn't really have a relationship like with my womb. It wasn't until like the past 2 years I started to become more consciously aware of all the energy that I've been holding on in my womb. Like I think throughout high school I was pretty numbed out, like emotionally. I grew up in a way where like some of my guardians were very abusive, physically and psychologically. So like I kind of was feeling like it was too extreme of feeling everything and a lot, and also I numb myself out where like I feel nothing, and I really didn't really have a relation with my womb um, until like the past 2 years. There was a point I was so depressed that I lost my period for over 6 months, and I didn't really like tell anyone, tell my parents, and they never really asked about. My mom never really asked about my period or anything like that. So I kept it to myself until I realized maybe this is not normal. And nutritionally, because of everything I was experiencing emotionally, I developed an eating disorder as well, bulimia, to like stuff away my feelings. But then again, I would purge after, so I don't know how much nutrition my body is actually retaining. for those couple of years that I had it. So that could be a reason contributing to it too. And I could relate with dysmenorrhea as well. But for me, my period has been irregular, but this past 2 years, because I've been more consciously aware of like getting my body the nutrition it needs, it's getting more and more regular. Yeah, so I guess my intention of like just being part of the circle is just to allow myself to feel safe and vulnerable and hold space for myself as for other women, and allowing other women to hold space for me to open up and explore everything that's been locked up in my womb area. When I do yoga, I notice the wound, the lower abdomen, the pelvic area is always tight. It's always contracted, and I have to consciously put a lot of energy into relaxing it and self-soothing myself to let myself know I'm safe, that I can relax that area. So I just want to learn more about myself and be able to heal areas in me that I have kept locked up because I was afraid that I wasn't safe. So that's my intention. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Such a beautiful, vulnerable share. And thank you for bringing up that important knowledge that we're leaning into about what's going on in our environment and our food supply. That comes perfectly into like the theme of what we're bringing in here and what we are offering and share, inviting you to tune in with. So I want to let Meg kind of go into what we were talking about. We mentioned in the beginning this superfood protocol. There's a 30-day one that we are really encouraging and recommending you, if you're here, to at least have like a consultation call with one of us, whoever invited you, to see if this is something that would serve you right now and be in alignment. And if not, it's not a requirement for showing up. We still want you here, absolutely. And but we'll get into the details of what like that would look like and the different protocols that we work with and the different options that you have. Yeah, I'll let Meg give us a lowdown on that.
Yes, thank you everyone for sharing. That was so beautiful to just feel that connection of where you are, where you've been. And yeah, let's get into the 30-day. It's helped me so much, and just finding my overall rhythm in my body and having like a set routine for myself. I really see it like when we discipline our bodies, we feel so much more self-love, because our bodies really do need that like continual nourishment and continual cleansing within ourselves. Let me turn on the light here so you can see me. But if any of you aren't familiar with glyphosate, that's something that really brought me into the protocols, as I was experiencing a lot of brain fog and just some gut issues that weren't resolved, and like getting on a consultation call with my dear friends, I just made that connection so clearly that the glyphosate that is being sprayed on our foods and these different toxins in our environment, in our water system, like even in tampons, and that's going into our bodies, and what we put in, we're going to become. So that's where a lot of my disease came from, I feel, was really the different toxins in our environment. And since hearing like the link between the different issues with glyphosate and knowing that we do have a solution within the few days that I was taking it, it really like just fully opened up my stomach and released what I no longer needed to carry for me in order to receive the fullness of my nutrients. Before, I was just so hungry all the time and nothing really satisfied me. And since intaking such rich nutrients, like I've learned just so much how our food is grown, the soils it's grown in, it really does matter. And it's so important to regenerate our soils, and that's really what this protocol has done for me, is regenerate my body, the soils, and I'll just go through like a few of the main products within it. You can do it 3 ways within the 30 days. So there's like an intermittent fasting schedule, a more loosely fitting schedule if you're just wanting like a slow integration in your body. And then there's the accelerated version, which gives you more of a cleansing, which is the one I did. And we have what's called the Core 4 products. And within that, it provides our fruits, our veggies, our detoxing, and our proteins, all essential for the building blocks of our bodies. And within that, I'm just gonna go through like what I start out in my day, as I have the Power Shake, which is just so enlivening to my cells. It has different sea algae and veggies and fruits, and they process it in a way that keeps the live enzymes intact. So a lot of these foods are like dehydration, but this is like wind tunnel technology. So it's keeping the living foods alive when we add the water within it. And that's the first thing I put into my body, as well as the Biomedic. And the Biomedic is the one that helps repair the gut wall. It helps to detox the glyphosate, so it like works simultaneously together. And if nothing else, I feel like every American should have this, because it's not banned within our country, the glyphosate. So that's important every single day. And as well as the super aminos. Such a brain food. It's plant-based proteins, non-soy legumes, and it goes straight to your muscles right away. I take this first thing in the morning, so I get energy right in the morning. And I've noticed that my body is just so much more strong. I feel like I don't have to work so hard in order to feel strength in my body and feel like my body is building. And then we have the apothecary, which is just pure tart cherry concentrate. Put this in water like an hour before bed, and it stops like sugar cravings, and it helps you get into the deep REM state of sleep. So that's the most regenerative, healing state we can be in. So when we have an aid within that, I notice I wake up so much more rested and just inflammation reduced. So that's our Core 4, and it's within the 30-day protocol. And you'll get 2 packages of those, and then it comes with the super cleanser, which I don't have with me right now, but you have it, Leah. It helps detox parasites if you have anything like that going on. Joanna, you got it. Yay. Awesome. Yeah, and if you're doing the accelerated version, that's what you'll do within like in the middle portion, and you pretty much triple up on the protocol. And within this protocol, we have recommended foods list, so you're not alone within it all. You'll know what will be best to add into your daily life. And yeah, do you want to add anything else, Leah?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I just felt called to add just some other things that I love about these foods that we work with, and like the background of our founders and the company is that our founder Dave, who's like the mastermind behind all the foods and protocols, he works with all different types of health practitioners, from Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine to naturopathy. And yeah, he's like always working to develop things that are working synergistically in the body. And like what I love about what Cindy was saying is like what I was saying in the beginning. It's like when we start to intake these nutrients that our bodies aren't used to getting this level of nutrition, so we like usually notice a shift right away. And for me, what it did was like really helped me realize, oh, all the things that I was eating before, even though I thought they were like, you know, healthy fruits and vegetables, blah, blah, blah. It's like there was something in them that was throwing me off balance. And then you start to think about, oh, that's how we're treating the earth. And like, so you see how directly reflected is how we're treating our bodies to how we're treating the planet. And yeah, I'm just like really feeling that right now because of the fires that are going on and everything. And I mean, this whole pandemic has been showing us like what happens when we continue to treat the environment and our bodies in ways that aren't serving us. So yeah, I've just really found a deep appreciation and awareness for that through working with these foods. And I just love how convenient they are. Like they just show up at my door every month, my order, and it's like I really see it as my baseline nutrition that I wasn't getting before. And like pretty much anything else I eat other than that is like for fun. And like I like ate cake last night that my sister made, so I'm not like a strict like diet vegan or anything like that. I'm very flexitarian. So yeah, just mentioning that because like wherever you are in your diet eating journey is like doesn't matter, honestly. Like even if you were to intake just the power shake every day, you would probably notice some shifts in your energy and your digestion. So yeah, that's how me and Meg actually became connected, was through working through this company. And then we both had this huge passion for the womb and for menstrual wellness. So we decided to create this group. So yeah, just inviting you, if any of that feels like something you want to look into more, you're invited to come on a call with one of us and just hear about your different options, or if you want to just ask questions right now, and then just to lay out the foundation of like the next 4 weeks during this series. It's going to be, sorry, I didn't know my cat was on my bed and I kept hearing these noises, and I just looked over and he like got up. I was like, you're the ghost. So it's going to be the next following 4 Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific. And like I said, each week is going to be a different phase. And if you're wanting to try this protocol, you can do it. It doesn't matter if you don't start like, you know, by Friday. It's like you can do it whenever you're able to or feel ready. And even if you don't feel called to do the whole 30 days or, you know, whatever your situation is, we would recommend and encourage at least like looking into trying like maybe the biomedic or the power shake or whatever based on what your needs might be. And yeah, the Friday gatherings are open to anyone, even if you're not on the protocol. And I was going to say something else, but it went away, so maybe it'll come back. But this is the cat. But yeah, Meg or Christina also, if you had anything that came to you that you wanted to add. Christina is also holding down the energy of this space with us. We all are a part of an organization that is being birthed called Sacred Womb Weavers. So also inviting you in if you're really wanting to just tune in with sisters and into the womb space and everything that we're talking about, but you're not feeling called to do this 4-week series with the transformation, the nutrition transformation. We also are going to be holding a womb room space. We're going to talk about dates right now. We're kind of just birthing this up again, but it's going to be either like once a month or bi-weekly. So you're all invited to that as well. But yeah, I'd love to see if anybody has any questions or yeah, anything that's resonating with you, what you're feeling about trying the superfoods, or yeah, anything like that. Open in the space.
I guess I'll ask some questions. um, so I've tried Pyria before, like in 2018. But I didn't do like a protocol. Like I didn't necessarily take it or use the products very regularly. And all I tried was the shake, the biomedic, and like the fiber one, which I really liked actually. But I don't know. I think that what like kind of holds me back is like the reoccurring costs. Like I feel like if you want to keep it up, it's really expensive. I'm sure it's worth it, but I'm sure it's worth it. And at the same time, like it seems kind of challenging for me in some ways. Like I'm like thinking about the good that it would do, and then I'm thinking about like in some ways it makes me feel guilty because a lot of my family, or like I can't give all that stuff to my kids even. Like my kids are like, I feel like I'll be indulging in something and be giving myself better health than a lot of my family members and particularly my children are getting. And so like there's both that like money factor and then like the like feeling super flurious in taking care of my health when I'm not necessarily doing as much to take care of my loved one's health. Do you guys have any ideas about that?
Yeah, thank you for that, for bringing in that conversation and being so honest about how you're feeling about that. I really appreciate it. And I totally hear you about those concerns. And if it's, I just like to share some of my own experience, if that's okay, of what I've noticed, and also about the like inviting in a non-strictness about it also. Like, yeah, we aren't here to like pressure you to do a recurring thing or like have to do that. If you were to though, like for me, I actually found like the first time I did the 30-day, I actually saved money on groceries because I actually wasn't needing, well, I wasn't buying things that I would normally buy that I didn't really need, for example. But also you don't need to buy as much food. And so the initial investment, I was like, but then I was like, oh, I actually saved like over $200 on groceries throughout the month. And then to actually be like intaking this level of nutrition I wasn't getting, I noticed I would go grocery shopping and I would not even like want to buy the things that I normally did because I wasn't craving it. Like the cravings were gone. And so that was just something cool that I noticed. But yeah, I hear you, and I'm feeling called to share about what you said about like taking care of yourself but not taking care of your loved ones enough. But I feel like to be able to have something that you could really easily give yourself quickly that takes care of you at a really deep level might allow you to take care of your loved ones more, you know. And I feel like that goes for everything, not just like superfoods, but like the more that we, you know what I mean? That's just what came to me when you were sharing that. I don't know if Meg has anything to say.
I was gonna say the same exact thing because that's really what I've experienced too. Like now, every single month, I'm like, that's the first thing I put my money into because it's more to like what I want to put my money and my energy into. And I see money as a way to vote for what we want to continue. And I see so many organic farms being birthed from this and like saving different land so that we are able to get organic crops and like buy out larger companies that are not doing good for our planet. And that's really where like my activist comes in, is like what do I want to feed into and what do I want to be fed, and what would I want my family to be fed and the future generations. And it just runs so deeply for me with like my health as my first priority, because when I don't have that, I've experienced that in the past and I can't serve from that place. I can't serve my gifts. So serving myself firstly with foods, with nourishment, I feel that's where I can really give from. So I continue to feed that. And yeah, that's what I got.
Could I share something about that also? Because I'm going through a similar kind of process. I've been working with the Purium products for a couple months now, and I love them and I'm feeling so good, but I'm like, oh my God, like I'm spending so much money on this. Although I am saving a lot of money on groceries, definitely. I this cat, he's just staring at the camera. That's Clyde. Um, I am saving a lot of money on groceries, and I'm also like able to have only one meal a day now. I mean, you know, anybody does that the way that they want to, but it just saves a lot of time for me. But also, what I was thinking about doing for myself, and what maybe you might want to consider, is like, you know, maybe I don't have to take all the products all the time. Maybe I can do a 30-day full, do all the products for 30 days, and then maybe I can just do Biomedic or just do the Power Shake. And that just kind of allows me to be way more like fluid, because every month I might need something different. You know, maybe this month I think I need a little more detox, so I'm going to get some more products. Maybe this month I think I can even take a break and I don't need any products. So that might be something really nice to know, is that like you don't have to just commit to all the products all the time, and just kind of be fluid with your body and what it needs each month. And know that like even though it does seem kind of expensive, you are saving money in a lot of other places too, and in some ways that you might not even realize yet. Like these products give me so much more energy now that like maybe once I find a job I can take on more shifts, you know, just one example. um, but yeah, just want to share that. Thank you.
I have a question. How much investment is a protocol?
I don't know if Meg was going to answer. Yeah, so the 30-day, there's a few different packages that you can do. Like we are recommending mostly the 30-day just because that's the most powerful transformative one for the most people. And for us, that's what we have done for ourselves when we started with it. But not everybody can or wants to start with like a whole 30-day cleanse. So there's other options. The 30-day is the one that includes the core 4 and then the other 2. And then the core 4 itself is also really balancing and harmonizing for the body, for your nutrients, for your menstrual cycle. So that one, what? Oh, I thought you were trying to say something, Joanna, because you feel like, I was like, you're on mute. So the 30-day ultimate lifestyle transformation, it comes out to about $11 a day, and retail price it's like $4.20. But then if you were to use me or Meg or Christina or Joanna's code, our gift code, you get $100 off. So it's about $314.25. So it's like, yeah, broken down, it's about $11 a day. And in that, you're getting 60 days actually worth of nutrition. Whereas the core 4 is about over $100 less. It's 30 days of nutrition, almost all the same stuff. That's about $189 with the discount. And yeah, so there's those, and there's also like a bunch of other packages. There's like an anti-inflammation package, and there's also single things you can get, like a biomedic package, which is like $45. A power shake is like $75. So there's different ways that you can go based on what you feel like your needs really are. Maybe you don't need to try a whole 30-day. Maybe you want to go for it and like do it with us. I'm actually going to do a parasite cleanse this month. I'm really excited because I've been wanting to do that one for a while. But yeah, I feel like I'm doing like a physical and an energetic parasite cleanse with that. Because yeah, if you've never done like a cleanse before, or if you have, you might know that like when we're cleansing physically, we're also going to be bringing things up emotionally and purging, and like your mentality might be clearing up and different things being brought to the surface. So yeah, that is the breakdown of that. And anybody's welcome to share how they feel about that. Or yeah, we're welcoming in any reflections, any way you're feeling. There's no pressure from us to like, you have to do this to be in the circle, but we are just like inviting in the openness to look into it and see how that might affect your well-being.
So I wanted to ask another question. You mentioned prior that you were going to do this 4-week container that was kind of like going with the 30-day transformation. So it's like a combination of the 30-day transformation and then also like exploring the 4 seasons, 4 weeks of the menstrual cycle. And then I thought I heard you say that, which sounds definitely wonderful. I think Meg mentioned that we should have ordered prior to get our package in time, but that's okay if we're a little late, right? So, but also I think I heard you mention that you guys are going to do this every other month. So in the meantime, you might be having another container that's more focused on the menstrual cycle or on women's gathering. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, we were just inviting in, we actually just talked about this before we came on this call, having within our women's community called Sacred Womb Weavers, which you're all welcome to tune in with and be a part of, and you probably already are energetically because we're connected and we think about you all. But that this container is merging with that, and we are moving to cultivate this specific 4-week container to be really focused on this deep nutrition and herbal remedies for the menstrual cycle, while also talking about the 4 seasons and all the creative and energetic ebbs and flows. So it's going to be a lot of wisdom coming together. So if you are really feeling like in alignment with this and wanting to try some of the superfoods, and even if you aren't in a space where you want to try the superfoods, you're still welcome to come join us. And then the other container I was talking about is just, we're going to start probably in the next month, I don't know, maybe 2 months, having either monthly or bi-weekly, like a womb room container that will be sort of like this, like we'll be talking about these things, but it's not going to be like we're talking about you should do the nutrition or blah blah blah. It's like more of like a open, just sister circle for us to come together and connect. So yeah, the focus of this one is more specific, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And on that note, I kind of have a follow-up question because I'm not fully like concluded as to whether or not I want to try ordering more Purium. I kind of know that I want to try ordering more Purium at some point. I just don't know when. And like, I feel like either now, but I was thinking about it and I was like, and I'm asking both you and Megan, I really want your like sincere opinion on this because you'll know what I mean when I get to the question. Um, so right now, like the food's kind of really fresh. Like I go to the farmer's market to get a lot of like sourdough bread and organic tomatoes and organic fruits and everything. And so like eating more healthfully right now where there's locally grown produce. And I'm not saying that like obviously adding nutrition and doing a superfood protocol would be good at any point, but I'm wondering if it would maybe even be more beneficial like in the winter when there's not that available, like when it's harder to find any fruit other than at the store, and you're kind of like getting less vitamin D and like getting less exercise and everything like that. Like would it maybe be better to hold off on the 30-day anyways until you guys do this again in the end of November, right? Just curious.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually, yeah, I want to feel into that. I like that you brought that up. Yeah, I think whenever you feel like it feels best for you to do it is perfect. And I think that's a cool idea to wait until, we're in the winter time and we're like cultivating our resources to stock up. Because, yeah, actually, so our founder, Dave, is like this wild visionary genius, but part of the reason he started creating these products was because he saw this time coming that we're in of like something happening where people need to like stock up on food maybe and have shelf stable nutrients that are going to last like through a pandemic or fires, like whatever. So yeah, I think it's always a good time to do it, but also it could be really great to do it during the winter, like a time when you're like, yeah, that reminds me of like, because in our internal menstrual cycle winter time, that's the time when we're using the resources we've gathered and living on what we have. So I like that.
I just wanted to add, and I like how you said, following your intuition, because that's what really led me here, was like my gut literally telling me that I needed to change something. And I feel, but you'll just know, like I was praying for a solution and just felt so confused because I was eating all organic and whole foods, plant-based. I'm like, why am I still feeling this? So it was really an answer to my prayers, and I feel it's really your intuition into when you want to need to begin. And I began last year at this very time because I really felt winter coming on and like just not wanting to be here in the winter. And that's what really saved me with staying here in the winter was Purium, because I felt so fed and nourished and my health was like improving over the winter. So I'm so grateful, and you'll know. You'll know. And I feel it is coming to a close unless there's like really someone who wants to say anything else further, and just kind of wrap it up from here.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, I just want to thank all of you for coming and taking time out of your day and hearing the call to be here. You know, that even that and like having that intention to connect with your body and with us is like so huge, I feel. And it's so much medicine. I'm loving you all so much. And yeah, so also wanted to let you know, so the next gatherings that are on the Fridays, those are opening up to be from an energetic exchange of like a heart gift, a gift from the heart. So whatever you feel called to contribute, if you're able, like anywhere from $5 to 20, like if you can't at this time, we're not excluding you. Like you're still like, please come, even if you're not able to contribute, but we're just inviting that in moving forward as an energetic exchange for our energy and just honoring that. And yeah, also invite in any sisters, any womb holders that you feel might benefit from this, because we really want to reach more women, because I know that I have so many friends who just are suffering in their menstrual cycle and also would love to just be held in this space. And I truly believe that we aren't meant to live in this physical suffering that we've become used to seeing as normal. I don't think it's normal, to be honest. And I wish for everybody to live in well-being. And yeah, so we'll be in touch and reaching out to you. And if you're feeling the call to look more into the protocols, we can set up a consultation call and see what, you know, option would be best for you. And if not, yeah, whenever your body feels that urge. Just inviting in some more deep breaths. That might have been a lot of information for the mind to take in, so just giving the body a resting space and allowing yourself to integrate back home into your womb. And maybe tonight, calling in any reflections that might come through for you. Feel free to share them with us, and inviting in a connection to your womb space. So really like asking, like going within and really asking your womb and your belly and your stomach is your center of intuition, as well as your womb, and like asking it, like, how does that feel for me? And like, what do I feel about showing up every week? And yeah, we would love to hear anything that comes up for you. Also, you can follow us on Sacred Womb Weavers on Instagram. And yeah, thank you so much. And I'll just, as we leave, open up the space if anybody feels like something is coming up that you really would like to share. Feel free. I'll be here for a couple minutes after. I'm super hungry though. I love you all. We'll see you on Friday, next Friday at